Hello, hello, hello. It's Steam NextFest time. This is part 2 of my coverage of Steam NextFest. What I'm going to be doing here is looking at some NextFest games, how the charts are, and for engagement. You should wait about 10 minutes because you're going to learn something surprising. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm just going to tease it for 10 minutes. No, I don't do that. YouTube sucks. YouTube encourages stuff. I'm just going to give you all the details I know right away. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to look at NextFest and some observations that I have. And I'm also doing this just for posterity reasons because I'm always like, wait, did they do that last year? Is this the first year? So I'm just going to look at all the features they've added. And we're going to go along together. Now, if you're making a game or you're thinking of making a game, this is a very important thing. You've got to shop for Steam games like a Steam shopper. Okay. And you'll find what is actually selling. Because I think this is the big thing is a lot of devs don't actually look at the store, play these games. We're going to play some demos. We're going to play some games. Well, I'm not going to play demos right now. I'm just going to find games that I should play as demo and I'm going to play them tonight or something. This is a very important thing. You need to play games. You need to play the games that are selling well. And we're going to go through this. Okay. So stick around for the 10-minute mark where we're going to learn some. No, don't worry about that. I'm going to give you all the good stuff all around. Okay. This front page of Steam. This is my account, so this is real stuff. You're going to see stuff that I've probably wishlisted. We're going to just look at what the thing is. The first thing I always check is if there's any new tabs or anything, and there's not really. It's pretty standard from what we saw before. Home will look at it. For You is more personalized than genre, theme, feature, charts. I think these genre is pretty important because you could subdivide, but I think the big important thing, these are kind of boring. Theme, feature. We're going to look at charts afterwards, okay? So stay tuned for that. But I'm just going to scroll down home to see what they're recommending. Now, this is day 2, but this is the full day of machine learning where they're still just learning algorithms. So we're going to see some weird stuff. Stuff that is going to be filtered out. You just know it, just seeing it. But this is good. You got to kind of dredge up the bottom of the pond to see what kind of flakes and stuff and parameciums and amoebas come up that are just microscopic and they're never going to get any more visibility. And sometimes this freaks people out because they're not used to looking at real games that are actually on Steam. They only see the filtered real Steam games that the algorithm has curated for them. We're going to look at some real stuff here. So let's take a look here. So again, I'm on the home, day 2. So we're going to see some weird stuff. I'm just going to scroll down. Now, I'm also going to explain what it is. Some stuff like she's got double guns. She's got guns that are double. So some of this stuff. So this is this is what I mean. You just see some weird stuff that you're just not going to see anywhere else. Okay, so this is probably randomly generated. This hero thing. Like, see, next game in 10 seconds. I think they're just randomly pulling from this thing. This is where they're exposing as many games and. That's what this is. So just kind of fun to look at this stuff. I wouldn't make any too many observations here. Like, oh man, this means wolf games where this bear dude turns into a wolf or something. No, it's just like, this is just random. They're just churning up to see, do people click this? Do people want to install this demo? Who knows? So don't draw too many conclusions like, how do I get on the front page? Everybody's getting this stuff. This is just random. Now on day 3, 4, Thursday, we're gonna go back. I've got a live stream this Friday. Link below in the comments because it's gonna be a live. We're gonna compare. What does this Discover NextFest gameplay look like? What kind of games are being featured here? It's probably going to be a little bit more professional, and we're going to compare this to the kind of weird stuff that we're seeing now, stuff that doesn't typically do stuff. I always look at fingers. I always check at fingers to see if this is an AI generated capsule just to see. This is kind of horrifying. She's just like smiling while this man gets caught on fire in the background. Let's just go back to that. I always like to look at these. Again, homeless life simulator. There's always a homeless life simulator. That looks like some stuff. This image, she's just like, she's taking a selfie and like doing the like cute e-girl thing. Like, Meanwhile, there's a guy on fire back there. This is, I don't know if they intended for this, but she's just like, yeah, I did this. And there's like a poor man burning alive back there. And he's probably a zombie, but still, I just love all this stuff. Is she smiling? I can't tell her facial expression. She's like, should I be smiling here while a man burns alive? Is she taking a selfie? Is that what she's doing? Who knows? You know, the weirdest stuff. My bet that's AI generated. Don't come at me. But yeah, I just kind of like see how I like to record how weird some of the stuff is. That just see workhorse. I don't see any horses. Like you just see stuff like workhorse. Where's the horse? I don't know. Yeah, it's not English first. Another Cardpocalypse. That kind of looks neat. Cardopolis. I'm just kind of clicking through. Physical Train. I love Japanese translate to English. It has such a poetry to it. Physical Train. Like, what's a non-physical train? I don't know. It's just Physical Train. It's something poetic. It feels like dream language. I love translated stuff. B. Ricky High School. Look at that guy. He's got his hair coming out. Pompadour. Is this a Japanese game too? Because they always have those guys. Have you seen those Japanese guys and they make their big hair like that? I don't know. Look it up. Battlethorn Reckoning. I'm not just gonna look at this. I'm kind of obsessed with these stuff. But anyway, I recommend you just look at these things, but don't draw any conclusions based on what you see. Now, here's on your wish list. Okay. Now, I think this is an important thing because in my last video, I threw out. I'm sorry. Somebody was like, "That's correlation does not equal causation," because I said when you have low wish lists, you don't do as well. I know correlation does not equal causation. I know that, but you should still go in with a lot of wish lists. And part of this is you can't only judge that based on the data that I presented. I grant you that. Sometimes I take shortcuts. One of the reasons why you need to have a lot of wish lists to get more wish lists, again, this is just gut and based on my own experience, combined with the data that's causation versus correlation. I know in the comments. I know. Don't at me. I know the difference. But see these widgets like on your wish lists? I may have forgotten about these games when I wishlisted them a long time ago, but now that I'm seeing them, look, this is the first widget after this random generated thing is this. Now, what this does is, if you think about this, if you have a lot of wish lists, you're going to show up on more people's radars, and they're more likely to play the demo. See how if I go over here and I go over and I click on this, let's see, let me go over and I click on this. See what it's saying? It's like install the demo. That means I am naturally, when I have more wish lists, I'm going to show up in more people's widgets. And I'm naturally going to get more players, which is going to move me up the ranks, which is going to cause more concurrent users, which more people are going to be like, oh, my friend, you should try this demo. You see, it's hard to pinpoint what it is, but when you have more wish lists, you just get more visibility, and more visibility compounds, okay? I know about causation equals correlation. Sometimes I just talk for hours, and I can't monitor everything I say, but this is one of those things where it makes sense. There's a reason why going into Steam NextFest is you just get more stuff. And like recommended for you, I don't know the algorithm that Steam uses to recommend games. It probably has to do with how many wish lists you have. So don't go into Steam NextFest without a lot of wish lists, even though I can't prove it because correlation does not equal causation. Okay. But anyway, so a lot of the games you see in this list, again, they just kind of look a little higher quality than some of the random stuff I was seeing in that slider before, you know what I mean? In that first top level where they were just purely doing it. I mean, some of these, you're not Bunny Girl. It looks adorable, but come on. But see, like Skate Story, I've seen that game around, and it did very well on Reddit because it has cool graphics. It's a good, love it when you see a game. But you're seeing much higher quality games. I see a lot of, my guess is these are high quality mixed with a couple throw in there is where they're kind of like, see, folks, one of the signs that I'm like, this game probably isn't going to do all block level caps when it's just like Island Beekeeper, whereas a game that like this game looks a little bit more like a pro thing. See how they've like changed the letter E to have a custom E, and the D looks kind of custom, and there's like these, look, the D is bigger than the rest of the letters. Just increasing one letter to be bigger, and see how the T is bigger, that tells me right away you've hired a graphical designer. So Island Beekeeper, you don't have to hire somebody. Your B actually looks pretty good. Just make the B of Beekeeper bigger and the R bigger, and it already looks like you paid for somebody. Always just make the first and last letter. See, like this Servant of the Lake. We'll talk about this game too. I was looking at this game. See, they just made some letters a little bit bigger. That's all it takes. But anyway, so what my thought is this is a mix of, they're popping in a couple games that are like, hey, we're just trying this out to see if anybody clicks on this, mixed with some high quality things. See, recommended for you. Again, I have a feeling the games that have more wish lists are more likely to show up in this thing. Okay. just the way the machine learning algorithm. And then there's discovery queue, which they always want to do. Maybe we could run through the discovery queue, take a look at some of those things. The other thing is I have been playing some open world survival craft, and so it's recommending this. And this is why genre matters, because if it's a genre that a lot of people play, there are more people who are likely to have this up there. Like, I'll tell you, open world survival craft is a huge genre. So if you think about all the players of Steam across the world, there's probably a lot of people who have been playing open world survival crafts. So if you have an open world survival craft, you're probably going to get more visibility. This is why genre matters. It's not just like, do the game that you think you'll do, the game that you want to build. Like, I know, in theory, I love that advice, but you really have to be aware of where the industry and what people's tastes are, because there's probably a lot of people with open world survival craft just like me. Let me see what other genres they're recommending. Or is this just open world survival crafts? Let's see. No, these are all open world survival crafts that people are recommending. There's that B game again. See, it's showing up again. So good for them. Oh, dark games. I don't know what my dark game that I've played. Sometimes dark is just such a weird tag that gets thrown in everywhere. But again, you see, a lot of these games. So Rat, Human Air, Nourish. I just kind of like, some of these games look like maybe first-time games. I don't know. Again, anytime I see the same font, they've added a curve, I'm kind of like, a graphic designer probably didn't touch this one. This one looks good. This is a good one. White, if I see white text in different sized letters, you hired a graphic designer. See this one? Yes, they added lava and stuff, but it's all block capital. See this like infinite mansion? That they dropped the N, the little N's different, and it's custom, and it's all different sizes, and it's got a little border, all that stuff. I'm like, whoa, graphic designers alert. Same thing with this game. Folks, if you don't make your castle, just hire a graphic designer, at least to do the text. You can AI generate, don't at me. If you don't have money, fine, AI generate it, but hire somebody to do this text, because that's what makes it look like you paid somebody, okay? Looks like you're professional. Okay, now here's the fun thing. This is where we get into the real stuff. This is the amoebas. You're going to see stuff here that you're never ever going to see again, because these games get hidden by the Steam algorithm. And this is day 2 stuff where they're just churning up. Who knows what we're going to see? We might see some stuff. The interesting thing here that I think is neat is when you scroll down really, really, really far, you start to see, when you scroll really far, sorry, I just was thinking what my next thing was. Sorry, folks, this is not, I don't script this stuff. This is just right off the top of my head. That's why sometimes I accidentally confuse causation, correlation. I don't say it right. Anyway, I have talked to people who have made festival pages, and they say they get more clicks when they just have almost infinite scroll, where it's very long scroll, because people will just scroll and scroll and scroll. They don't typically click on tabs. And so what I find interesting is Steam knows this, I'm sure. Valve, somewhere in now, Valve, they know. I noticed that it's a very long scroll down. We're going to go down, 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 down. We're going to go down here, okay? And that's what's interesting is Valve's kind of like, yeah, let's just expose as many games. You're not going to have to click more and more and more and more. We're just going to keep scrolling, okay? The other thing that I want to check before I start the down scroll, look, I don't know. I think I've ignored 48 things or something. We're going to get rid of these, but look at this, 2,813 matches. I think this is why I do it for posterity. Last October, it was like 3,000, I believe. I believe it was 3,000. See, a lot of people drop out at the last minute, like an hour or so before Steam NextFest goes live, or even a day. There's some mistakes. Let's see how many if I remove these filters. How many we got? 2,000. See, it's not that much of a difference. 2,884. All right, this is Chris coming back, editor Chris coming in after I edited this, and I popped back into the old screenshot I took of October NextFest 2024 right here, picture right here. Back then there were 2,650 games. I didn't hide those ignored items, so maybe it's another 20 or so. But anyway, that means this year there are 163 more games than there were last year. I wouldn't freak out about that. It's not like, oh, so many games. Usually 90% of those games are just absolute garbage or just not good. It's not that many different. It's about the same. Stop freaking out. Let's get back to Chris pointing at things. See you later. We might see some naughty stuff because I think I filter out for naughties. I hope not. Maybe I'll filter it. I just don't want to get demonetized or something. I'm just already looking at Pirate Lady here. I don't know what's below the fold here. I'm a little afraid to scroll down. What else is below that dice? Okay, I'm okay looking at that stuff. You know me. I'll look at it. But I just don't want to share it on the stream. So let's just see. Oh, boy. Okay, I'm going to edit this if it turns out she is. Let me improve engagement. What happens if I scroll down? Do you think she's going to have something? Oh, okay. Skull port. All right. Where's the port? Port of call coming in. All right. Let's see if I can just hide that stuff. Let's see if I can filter that. I don't want to get demonetized, if you know what I mean here. Not that I care about, because YouTube sucks. It doesn't give you any money, folks. If you're hoping like, oh man, once I get 1,000 subscribers, it gives you no money. I just want to spread my word as much as possible. And let's see if I can hide the adult stuff. I just want to I'm going to live dangerously. This isn't live. I'll just clip. So if you see a sudden break, that means I ran into some naughty images. If you just all of a sudden see a cut, that means I just went back in and edited it. So we're going raw. We're going Skullport. All right. I don't even know if Skullport's adult. It's not. They just, I'm telling you, it's funky. The first couple days is funky. That's why I love doing it. It's, you know what it's like the first couple days of Steam Next Fest is if you ever go to like a flea market or something, you see some stuff in the flea markets. You're like, whoa, people don't sell that kind of stuff anymore. You never know what you're going to do. It's like vintage shops and stuff. We're going deep. Okay. King subsidy. Look, see, they changed the text. He's really mad about subsidizing. He's like, I hate subsidizing stuff. Or are we subsidizing him? I guess, yeah, that's, let's subsidize the monarch. Ugh, get rid of that subsidy. Skullport. I don't see a skull. Where's the skull? I don't see anything. I like how she's a pirate, but she still ties a nice dainty ribbon right there. She's like, no, still want to look nice on the open seas. Okay, the Way of Night. I love this logo. Let's see, Capybara's Happy Time. Yep, Barda, Pumpin'. I'm just scrolling. I don't have any opinions. I just do it because I just like to see what's going on here. Some of these games you're just going to see some of the weird stuff. And I'm trying to see, I'm already seeing some stuff in this list. Now, this is probably totally random, just trying to seed the algorithm to see, well, the machine learning algorithm is going to be like, oh, what are people clicking on and stuff like that. I just kind of like to see, because this stuff's going to disappear. I'm already seeing some stuff that looks higher quality than what I did yesterday. I always say it, but I should always do one of these on the first day. That way I get some of these. What's this one say? Dark Light Survivor. I love that term, dark light. Dark Light Survivor. I love Dark Light. It's like there's a game called like Heavy Snow or something. I don't know. Work-life balance. See, the balance is you get a cat next to you or something. Dungeons and Kingdoms. Okay. Oh, I like that. Dungeons and Kingdoms. Down below, up high. Knights of Space Time. I've reviewed this game. I reviewed their Steam page. Knights in a Different Night with a Gun. I think that was my recommendation. Way to go. Way to improve it. Just like a night with a gun. Something's happened on time. Okay. Yeah. I remember seeing your capsule. I think you kept the same capsule. Deadly robots invading. A twin stick action top-down shooter with in-depth gun. That's good. I'm pretty sure that you've changed it. Niam. Okay. Second. Cool water. The leading on this one, the distance between that and that, it's just like, this is how you know that a graphic designer has not touched this one. It just feels weird to touch the bottom, but you don't have, just at least you can select all the things and do distribute, position, distribute, that stuff. Just like, that's why I don't mean to bag on you if you're a cool water developer, but just I don't even think these are lined up in any way. Like, I can understand if you're going to line them up in an angle, but at least there's a button called Tidy Up usually where you can just sort the layers and stuff. It's just that stuff that it's sweet. It is sweet. I like it. Okay. Anything else? Anything else that I see? Dig Island. I like to see this stuff because you kind of see these derivative things where it's like you'll see those dig a hole And island games are kind of big, so they're just like, oh, dig a hole on an island. I always like to see like some of these things, the store games where it's like, oh, trading card simulator store was big. Let's do comic book store simulator. All right. Processor Dev Tycoon. See, well, at least they lined it up and they got equal space in between the things. But again, it's the all caps. That's the dead giveaway, and it's all caps. And all the text is the same size. That's when you say like this one. Just make that R bigger and look a little different and customize the text. See this one? Yes, this one's all caps, but look, this one looks good because they made the L bigger. That's all it takes. And they added this little fancy thing. See this little fancy line thing? That just looks so much better. Hold the Mine. I know this. I get advertised on Reddit for Hold the Mine all the time. I think this is Goblins. Goblins is really good about publishing on Reddit or Reddit ads. So I always see it. See? Kind of works, but Goblins, they do pretty good. I'm just going down, just kind of seeing what's out here. This is good. Boss Simulator. So is she the boss of him doing stuff? I don't know. I love these. I love the ones that have more questions. After looking at the capsule, I have more questions than answers. Those are my favorite. Raven. Aren't ravens usually black? Like, why is this so white? Maybe it's a story. He was like, how the raven turned white. Skull Horde. I know this guy's in the Discord. Interested in this game. Yeah. Cool. Still self-published. Interesting. I didn't know you were going for this. See, this is what I'm like. Some of this stuff is coming. It's better. Also, I like the rags on the skeletons need to stay warm. Do they need to put on the jackets to stay warm, or are they just remembering their days before they became skeletons? Just questions of how this stuff works. I just wonder how skeletons work. Do skeletons get cold? Skull Horde looking good. He had a really good demo launch, if I remember it. Was it a demo launch it was a demo launch. You got a new and trending free. Did good. I should reach out to you, but thanks for being a member of the Discord. I always like to see, it's like a friend coming by, but there we are. We're at the bottom of the list. Just a first glance. I don't take anything from this. There's nothing really to learn. I just like to see what's out there, what kind of games are coming, see what kind of games people are making. All right, just as I promised, I am going to look at my Discovery queue. Now, Discovery queue drives a ton of traffic. So if we are looking at this and kind of analyzing sources of traffic, Discovery queue is a huge one. People don't obsess about the Discovery queue enough. Now, what's interesting, the other reason I'm doing this for posterity reasons, to come back at it, is if you look, there's a specialized widget, and it's just floating over NextFest. You see how it says blurry background for NextFest? They've kind of created this custom Discovery queue widget. You don't go to the full page. You just get this pop-up, pop-over type of thing. So you see view store page, install demo, wishlist, ignore. Steam uses those. However I interact with it, Steam feeds that into the machine learning algorithm. So let's see. I just saw something hover. I was just wondering if they had some background interactions that were not being masked by this pop-up. But here's the Discovery queue, long drive north. One thing that I noticed is a lot of games I'm getting recommended are the games we're seeing in the popular demos, top demos. So I'm already seeing that the Discovery queue, what I take from this is the Discovery queue is already filtering out the pure trash. And a lot of the stuff is already higher quality that they're feeding in here. So like Power Wash Simulator, saw that on the list. Saw Misery in the list, I'm pretty sure. In the top demos list. Friends Slop. No, this is more, I don't know if this is considered, it's Open World Survival Craft, but it's more Friends related. Here's Tim, Hooded Horse, always the best at everything. Hobby Horse First Ride. This game, I did see this game. Sorry if you heard that. Oh, great. I hit back and now I can't see it. Back to my Discovery queue. Hobby Horse is a horse game. I thought that was funny. Horse game. I didn't see it listed. Oh, I got a totally different. Oh, man. Sometimes the Discovery queue makes me mad. Just clicking away changed my Discovery queue, so let's go through this one. So, again, I am seeing a lot of this stuff is already feeding in, similar to games you played. Dark. I'm just trying to see if we can see who the developer of this is. Let's see. I don't want to click view store page because it's going to take me away from this. But we got a horror game. Another horror game, Final Sentence. This is that horror typing game that I talked about. Saw that on the top of the list. One of the top demos. Horror games. Hot, folks. Backrooms. Horror. They probably know because Discovery Queue is tied to me, and I saw Dark was one of my most common tags. That's there. Dark horror. It's really like, oh, this guy loves horror. Dark horror. They're really pushing the horror on me. Whoa! I swear, folks. The Discovery Queue. Oh, because of Dredge. I played some Dredge, but not. Oh, well, it really thinks I love Dredge, so it's showing so much horror here. So much horror. Sometimes the algorithm feeds back on itself and is like really pushing it. This looks cool. World Sea Battles. I did see that in the list. Trip to the Night Mall. Cool. Pixel art horror. I'm going to add this. What the hell? Now I'm going to get a totally different Discovery Queue. Let's see if it is. No. It kept that Discovery Queue. I'm going to add this one because I always like pixel art horror. Because if you want to, that's how I do wishlist. If you want to do a hard thing, make somebody scared of pixel art. I always like to see what they do for pixel art horror because it's there. Man, they are just really heavy hitting on the horror stuff. Yeah, so that's it. So I did view 12 because I went through the list and I was like, oh, I should do this. So it's there. So I did one wish list. Continue. But that's a Discovery Queue. You should also do the Discovery Queue. It's a very important widget to learn. Now, back to me pointing at stuff. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the stuff that matters, where we're going to start making some assumptions that aren't fully backed by data. But if you're an entrepreneur, you can't wait for perfect data that's coming from everything and statistical, significant representative samples. You're an entrepreneur, baby. You got to make some judgments, some guts. You got to trust your guts and look at where the data's pointing and then make a logical leap, even though it's not perfect. We're not trying to cure cancer here. We don't need a perfect representative sample. So we're going to make some naughty decisions that can't be proven statistically, but we're going to make them. And that's okay. We're making video games, not curing cancer here. All right, so these are charts, and I like to look at the charts because you see what's trending. Now, here was one thing that I noticed that I feel like is different. This is why I record this stuff so that I can have it for posterity's sake when I can go back. Again, I like to look at the numbers. I think there are fewer games this October than there were last October. I'll have to go take my notes, but this is why we record it. What I did was every day I've been taking a screenshot of this list. So popular upcoming, I think, is if they're releasing soon. If they're releasing soon and they've got enough wishlist to get on there. Well, I think it tells you. It tells you. A friend of mine told me about this, so here it is. If you hover over it, it tells you what it is. Upcoming games sorted by total all-time wishlist counts only includes games not yet released on Steam. Okay, so they're releasing soon, sorted by all-time wishlist counts. So we got, of course, Tim, Hooded Horse, kicking butt. I think this game's on the top of the whole list, of every single list. Or second. There it is. And top demos. Freaking Hooded Horse. Tim. So awesome. If you get a chance to get published by Hooded Horse, 100% endorsement. Unless you're making like a hidden object game. I don't know why Tim would back your game if you were, but man, freaking Tim. Way to go, Tim and team. Hooded Horse. All right. Anyway, so the other thing that's interesting, the reason I do this for posterity reasons, is I want to see what UI changes. And the thing that I noticed, just stay with me. It's like, I'm falling. Okay. Notice how many. There were tons before they did show more. Tons. It's right there. This guy's in the community. I'm not taking credit for this, but I begged him to put Buff Link in the capsule. Look what he did. Buff Link. I love it. Way to go, Buff Link. I'm not taking full credit for that, but they did the hard work of coming up with the idea of Buff Link. I really think this game should just be called Buff Link. Check it out. It's doing well. It's in the charts. Okay, so anyway, what I'm thinking is, again, I think that what I take from this, and the reason I showed the long scroll is, I feel like it used to be like 10, and then you have to click more, and then you see 10 more, and then you click more, and I think Valve's just realized, let's just let them scroll. And so I see this as a good sign that they're just letting it scroll. Just let it scroll. And what we're going to do is in a second, we're going to switch over and I'm going to do some comparisons. Probably upcoming is interesting. It's good because people who launch near NextFest, this is the one thing that I told you in the last lecture. I said, don't do NextFest. Don't launch your game immediately after NextFest. This is the only time I'd have to look at the data. I could see an argument. You want to launch after NextFest because this widget gives you lots of visibility right before launch. But I don't know if this is comparable visibility to the 10 that they do on any other regular week. And I don't think it is because, yes, this is impressive, but I don't know if it makes up, if it's any more than the previous popular upcoming that happens any other week. Okay, so I don't know. But you're competing with big boys like the Hooded Horse team. Okay, whereas if you try and get into popular upcoming on a normal, boring, non-NextFest week, you're not competing against Tim as much. You're competing against some big boys. Look at this, Anno. You're competing against an Anno game. This is some big boys. Big boys. Okay? All right, let's look at trending upcoming. This is upcoming games sorted by trending or recent wishlist counts. Only includes games not yet released on Steam. So this is we never know what their trending is. People are thinking that it's like 48 hours. That's kind of my thing. It used to be like a week. Like if you got a ton of wish lists in the week before, and we're talking like 10 to 20,000 wish lists in the weeks before, you would show up on this list. This list usually doesn't move very much throughout the day. I mean, like throughout NextFest. Like once you're on this list, you're pretty much on there. Again, you're going to see some very similar ones trending and that sort of thing. Again, it's just a long list. I'm just scrolling through the long list. I do take screenshots every day of this list so that I can see what's changing. And then top demos are games sorted by their demos daily user count using recent active data. Okay, so this is why it's good to have lots of players and long, crafty, buildy strategy simulation games because those have higher play counts because people can replay the data. Okay, this top demos, and we're going to look at this one. I took a screenshot of top demos yesterday, and then just before I did this call, and I'm going to do this next part, is where we're going to compare them. And I think this top demos is where you can actually learn something. Because you need to compare, and I want to see what demos shot up, and we're going to look at it. I drew some pink lines, and I'm interested in, because usually these lists are very static. Like, I have a feeling Tim is going to end at the top of this list. Tim and his Hooded Horse crew is going to end at the top of this list by the end of the NextFest. So these lists are big boys. Like, they've got hundreds of thousands of wish lists. So if you see a demo that shoots up this list, there's something magic about this game, and we should look into it. I mean, it's still great. Everybody on this list is a winner. Even all the way down at the bottom, everybody on this list, you did good. By the way, this game, it kind of looks like he's flicking them off. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to flick everybody off. But he looks like he's flicking people off. I just saw that capsule. I was like, is he flicking them off? Or is he going thumbs up? Or is he going, hey, everybody drive that way. I'm driving down the middle. You drive left. You drive right. I'm driving down the middle. Anyway, but anyway, what I was saying was, if I see anything pop up, move up or down this list, that's hot because these games are coming in hot. Okay, they're big boys. And so if you can move around in this list, something interesting is happening. So I'm going to flip over there and do it. The other thing that I just want you to do, here's what I want you to do. You at home, you need to understand the types of games that Steam likes. And I've written article after article about crafty, buildy, strategy, simulation games. These are the type of games that Steam likes. Steam doesn't necessarily like a game where you're a dude with a sword and you go on a straight linear adventure and you battle bosses. What they like are these games like this remake of a Heroes of Might and Magic, where it's kind of an open world. You kind of explore. If you want to go down this way, you can. If you want to go down this way, you can. You just do anything. They're crafty, buildy, open world, survival games, some horror. I think that's horror. Typing games, these friend slop type of things. Now that we're going to talk about this one of the outliers, puzzle game, doing really good. We're going to put a star on this one. Put a star on Servant of the Lake. Put a star. But you'll see a lot of just gut feel, and you should play all these demos, everybody. Just, you got to understand what kind of game does well on Steam. A lot of strategy, open world, customizable, co-op, playing with each other type of co-op friend sloppy type of games. Racing actually does pretty well on Steam. I don't call out racing enough just because I don't understand it. Racing does pretty well, but you'll see, here's another racing. A lot of like weapon stuff, crafting tags, and then you'll see, of course, some like brand name IP stuff. This game actually does pretty well. It's kind of racing, but its graphics are really good. I saw a lot of stuff on Reddit. A lot of sports, and I love this. He's just like, yeah, oh yeah, I love badminton so much. This guy loves badminton. I don't know if anybody is that excited about badminton, but he sure is. I love that guy. He's so into badminton. Like, is this good or bad? Like, is he happy because his friend like got it out? I always think badminton. I think it's like a fun day at the park. You know, it's like, hey, let's have a barbecue and play some badminton or something. It's just, yeah. Like, hey, buddy, you want to come over here and we're gonna throw a couple dogs on the grill and play some badminton? Okay. But anyway, but yes, it's a lot of, that's kind of what it is, like these auto battlers, strategy games. Now, there is, look, a 2D platformer or a 3D platformer, but guess what kind of platformer it is? You have to basically have been around since the 90s and kind of be a punchline. For the longest time, Bubsy was a punchline. People used to hate 2D platformers because they're like, it was Mario, Sonic, and then everything else was just character slop. And Bubsy was like the lowest of the low character slop. You're like, oh yeah, like another character game like Bubsy. And now he's on the front page of Steam. So way to go, Bubsy. But again, these 2D platformer things, just don't. 3D platformer stuff, unless you're Bubsy, it doesn't work. But here's crafting, city builder, tavern crafter, builder, open world, survival craft, strategy. Okay, this is probably a 3D platformer. If you have the IP, you do okay as 3D platformer. If you don't have the IP, I'm sorry. Karen is kind of one of the really novel kind of I consider this a 3D platformer, but it's got this really novel mechanic type of thing. But in general, sports games doing pretty good. What I'm seeing here is the old crafty, buildy strategy simulation with some horror stuff thrown in there. But for the most part, I mean, their Friend Slop is still doing really well. These games that only come out in China that do very well, these FMVs, I think this is one of these SMB romantic dating. No, never mind. This one is a strategy simulation, a strategy game. More Friend Slop. Let's see, we get that. I think that's co-op cooking slop. Docked simulation game with a blue collar job. You know, that it doesn't change very often, folks. Most of these games, I'd say the new thing, mainly stuff comes in where it's like, here's Friend Slop. That's really picking up, but it's not as much. So there we go. Yeah, it's just like it's not too surprising what I see in here. So all right, see, there it is. Okay. This is it. I just had to do a cut because I had to like dig into my files. Anyway, so here we are. Now what you're looking at is, like I said, I knew this would make me mad. Let's see. So what we're looking at in a very weird way, let me scroll over. There's no good way to just have a giant list of an image. So what I did was I took 2 images. This is day 1 of Steam Next Fest. This is day 2 of Steam Next Fest. And I'm interested in where did they go. Now, what I did is I drew some very sloppy pink lines here. So this is day 1, no change. Tim and Hoda Horse doing awesome. Now the top games, usually when a game's doing well, it does so well. So it's very hard for somebody to overcome it. So you're going to see more moving around down below because there's the games are more tightly clustered. So all they have to do is increase by a couple, maybe 100 or 200 concurrent users, and they'll shoot up the chart or drop rapidly. Now, if you're on the list and you were in day 1 and you disappeared off the list, I love you. There's no problem with that. You won. That's good. You did a good job. So please, if you're like, oh, look at that game, it fell off the list. Look at that. What a loser. No. Everybody who got on this list is a winner. I'm just interested in who's changing. Now, if a game like Final Sentence flip-flops and goes up to here, that's okay. Or if down, again, this is probably a difference of like 100 concurrent users, and so they just flop around. I don't think that's interesting. What I find interesting are the big leaps, and this is what I'm thinking. See, day 2, Servant of the Lake. Look at how far this came. On day 1, it was down here, and it jumped how many slots? See that pink arrow going? I'm going to play Servant of the Lake, and I think it's interesting because it's a puzzle game. and it did awesome. This means to me, word of mouth is happening. Content creators, I haven't checked content creators who's playing Servant of the Lake, but I also think it's interesting because it's a puzzle game. And I think this is every NextFest, there's always one puzzle game that pops off. The other one that I remember was Is the Seat Taken, which did very well. And so usually to do well as a puzzle game, because there's so many puzzle games, you have to be very interesting, very cool art style. It's a very kind of like Wes Anderson, very static 2D thing. I got to look into who made it, probably some famous puzzle designer or something. Very interesting. It is so hard to do a puzzle game. This is the only puzzle game I think in the top list. So there's always one, and it's really good. So I'm going to try it out. I don't even know if Blueprints was in NextFest, but anyway. So I'm just kind of looking. Yes, I mean, Misery dropped a few slots. I don't think that's that interesting. It's these big things. So I'm just putting in a pin because I always like to play demos, and you all should too. I always like to play demos to see what's trending. Definitely Servant of the Lake is going on my list of games to try because I'm just like, what is going on? Why is this game popping off? The other one, look at this one. iRacing jumped super far. iRacing, the one where the guy's like flipping everybody off. He's like, yeah, the best racer. Or he's going, you left, you right. Or the guy going, yeah, thumbs up. I can't tell what is going on with his fingers, but look at how far this jumped. All the way from down here, all the way up to here. Woo! That's interesting. I'm going to play iRacing. I kind of like iRacing games. They're fun. So we'll try that. Master of Command, did okay, but jumped. Cloudheim fell. I don't think falling isn't as interesting. I always like to look on the bright side. Why to do it? This game came out of nowhere. I knew if it didn't even have if it wasn't on the list the day before. So again, these racing games are really hot. Racing games do well in NextFest and on Steam in general. Car Service Together. I think this is a co-op. Blue Collar, is it racing? Simulation. So again, these simulation games where you're building a car together. I can just look at the slope of this line and tell it's coming up from low. It jumped a number of slots too. Car Service Together. Again, I have a feeling this is why I think it's important. This is probably word of mouth. A lot of people play it on day one. And they're like, just saw this and they're like, this is fun. Let me go call my friend. And they call their friend and they say, let's play this game together. And they're playing. That's word of mouth. I have a feeling word of mouth is a big one on this one. So let's keep going down. I'm just looking for stuff that's got a very big slope. Power Washer 2, way to go. But I mean, it fell, but it's not like, didn't fall that far. Don't overread that stuff. So Car Service Together, I think, is an interesting one. The puzzle game, that we were talking about. iRacing. So those three are interesting games to check out. I'll check them out. I like to see, are they doing anything cool marketing-wise? Because it's really hard to boost up that way. So I want to look to see, what are they doing? What kind of cool things are they doing? Ultimate Sheep Raccoon, that's Ultimate Chicken Horse was the previous one. So kind of a sequel. It has a very steep line. They jumped up. Global Rescue, also interesting. Simulation Strategy Sandbox Building might be interesting. Look at how steep the line is for Global Rescue. That was a big one. Good old Buff Link. It fell, but don't worry, don't freak out. You did good, Buff Link. Oaken Tower. I think this one's interesting because pixel art. Anytime something pixel art, it is auto battler. I'm always interested in auto battlers. It's a good genre. It jumped too. So Oaken Tower is one that I'm going to be trying out, playing sometime. Bubsy 4D. So everybody's like, oh, Bubsy. And then they say like, do you want to play it? Nah. Don't overinterpret when a game falls. Don't overtake it. Let's see what else happened here. Let's see if there's Tavern Keeper did pretty well. Tavern Keeper games are always pretty good. Astro Botanica, new, popped on the list from nowhere. Let's see, anything else come up? The Legend of Kimori. This SpongeBob game popped in. Karen popped out of nowhere. This one's going to be hot too, I have a feeling. So we see some stuff popping up. Let's see, Star Sand Island came up. Is that a farming game? Life sim, farming sim. You know what? The word star in there. You got this, and you have two people just kind of looking over their land. See what I mean? You can just tell the genre with like just a title and a thing. I know Star Sand Island sounds very cliche, but did you not see it? I swear I didn't know. It's a farming game. I just knew it based on star plus a piece of land. Valley, island, peninsula. What if they did star, peninsula? I would be like farming game. You're not trying to be as unique, folks. You're not trying to be as unique. Paddle Together. There's another paddle game. The guys in my Discord, I got to ask them, what do you think about Paddle Together? Another friend slot paddling game. They probably saw the success of this other guy's game called Paddle, 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 and that it is a fast follower. They're like, damn it, they stole my idea. I'm interested. This Chinese strategy game, Wizard Cats, Semi, and Monsters Coming. So I like to play the ones that just popped into the day too because they probably had something. So those are what the games I'm going to be playing, those new incomers that just shot out of nowhere. So I'm not going to play them live on stream. Those numbers, people don't like to watch me play video games. They just like to watch me point at stuff on my screen. So I'm not going to play them live, but I invite you to play them because you really should. Folks, I see so many games that are in the wrong genres, and devs spend so many years working on games that the Steam audience just doesn't want. And then you look at these, and people want these. They want these type of games. So you should be playing these games to kind of understand what is the Steam audience wanting. What's the type of game that Steam players like? And you just learn it from just doing this process, like this craziness right here. Anyway, that's it. So that's it. Don't forget Friday, live Q&A. I'm going to answer questions. We're going to look at your numbers. You can share your numbers about whether you got sidelined, because on Friday you'll know what happened on Thursday. Thursday is usually when you know whether you got buried by Steam or not. Also, I've got a discount on my course, also linked below. So both the live Q&A registration is down below, and the course, that is also linked below. So try those out. That's it. So thank you so much for watching my videos, and have a good day. Bye. Bye. I hope you find something. I hope you play some free games. I hope you learn something about yourself. Bye. Badminton.